My full name is Steve Barraza. I was born in Van Nuys, California, March 15, 1964. Growing up, when I was 3 years old, we were living in Silmar, California. We were living at my grandparents' house, and we were living in the garage with me and my mom and my dad and my brothers and sisters. And that's where my childhood began, what that I can remember. First thing we'd do, we'd get there to my grandma and grandpa's house, and we'd go greet them. And anybody that was there, my aunts and uncles, there was always somebody at the house. We'd go greet them. And then we couldn't wait to run to the backyard, because at the time, they had this yard that we thought it was like just a huge, humongous yard. He had peacocks back there. He had chickens, roosters. And we'd run back there, we'd try to find the eggs. We'd try and find the eggs, and because my grandpa used to collect metal, aluminum, wood, steel, so he had all these shelves with stuff on it, and we'd go back there running, trying to look under the eggs and see where the eggs were, and those were fun memories. We moved all over. I think from there we moved with my grandpa, my nana, my tata, and Van Nuys for a while, and then we lived on Hazeltine in the house. I don't really remember too much. We lived on Ventura Canyon. And that house I remember quite a bit. We had a big front yard. We had a big front yard. We'd all play sports. Me and my brother would play sports in the front yard. And there was a backyard, and it just kept going. And where the back part of the yard, if you kept walking, you would end up on Woodman Avenue, over by the Tasty Freeze, and we'd go out there and have ice cream during the summertime. She was a crossing guard. She was a crossing guard for the city of Los Angeles, and I think she was a crossing guard for about 20 years. She worked at Pep Boy. She was a cashier, and she did some other odd-end jobs. She used to clean houses when we were younger, and I think she got that from my grandma Rosie, from my nana, because she used to go clean some houses from some people that were in the movie business. They were directors, and my mom was cleaning people's houses at the time when we were smaller. That's more or less what she did.
Do you have any memories of your dad?
No, not too many. Not too many memories of my dad. Like I said, I was 3 when he passed, and I've got some pictures of him holding me. There's a few pictures of him holding me, but my memory of him, I don't have too much, just from pictures and what my uncles tell me. Probably the hardship growing up, probably with my dad passing, and we were so young. I think John might have been about 7. He might have been about 6 or 7. Jeanette was probably about 8. Jules was probably about 7. Jules was probably about 5. I was 3. Lupe was 2. Diane was 1. And I think the hardship on my mom, just, bringing us all up by herself, was really hard on her, but she did a fantastic job. Talk about a single parent. I think if my dad was around, it probably been a lot easier on my mom and all of us for us growing up, as far as not having to move so many times and that. It'd probably been a lot easier for us as far as just having clothes and getting stuff for school and stuff. It was a struggle for my mom, but she did the best that she could do, and she did a great job. First one, my oldest sister is Jeanette Gutierrez, but it's Jeanette Barraza. The first thing that I think of Jeanette is just compassionate. She's real compassionate, down to earth, and loving person, real down to earth, and she'll give you the last quarter that she has in her purse. The next one in order of going younger would be my brother John Barraza, and he was junior, big brother, like a father to me. He was the oldest one of the brothers, so I kind of looked up to him as my father, and just a strong person, strong-hearted, strong-minded, and I kind of grew up in what he taught me, in the values of life and just being a good person. My brother Julian Barraza, kind, loving brother, uncle. He liked to party and have a good time, and good worker. He worked for the school district. He was a janitor, and he worked for the school district for probably about, I'm going to say maybe 20 years, and very good guy. Then it would be my sister Rachel. She passed when she was really, really young, I think an infant, and so I didn't know her, but I wish she would have lived, and I would have had another sister. Next would have been me, Steve Barraza, and good guy. Going from me, coming down would be my brother Lupe Barraza, and he was named after one of my uncles on my dad's side. And just also a strong person, strong-willed person, great brother to have around. Growing up playing sports, my brother John and Jules were kind of the same age, so they played more or less on the same teams, same leagues. Me and Lupa were only a year apart, so we played together a lot of sports. We played together on a lot of teams, and that was great to have him as a teammate and a brother. Then the next one would be my sister Nuys Barraza. Great athlete. I mean, she could hang with all the boys out there. Down to earth person, caring, and just fun to be around. The next one would be my sister Deborah Yon, and that's my sister. My mom's from a different father. And growing up with Debbie, just down to earth, crazy girl, crazy little girl, running around with her hair all messed up. Yes, I love her. I love her. She's not living here. She's living in North Carolina. We keep in contact over the phone. I love her. And then the last one would be my brother Lorenzo Morales, and he is my brother from Lencho, who's my stepfather, and down to earth person. Growing up with Lingy, just he was the youngest, so when we were older, loved going to see him play ball, and he's doing good. He's got kids of his own, and I wish him well. There's another person that I'd like to acknowledge on this day, and that would be my stepfather Lorenzo Morales. Everybody knows him as Lencho. He's been there through thick and thin since we were all kids. Him and my mom never married. They had a kid together, Lorenzo, which was Lingy. And I just want to tell Lencho, thank you for being there for all of us, all my brothers and sisters, since we were kids all the way up until now. I wish you the best of health, and just thank you for being there for all of us. Thank you. Nana, one of a kind. I mean, strong woman, just really compassionate, friendly, loving. Remember my Nana's house, when we were living with her, I remember going over there in the backyard. She had a big backyard. They had a backyard. My grandpa, I guess he had a green thumb because he had peaches back there, plums, grapes. He had 2 big fig trees. And just going over there all the time, and when we weren't living with them. And when we were living with them, just getting up, running around all day and all night in the backyard, playing in the fig trees. And my grandpa, or my tata, I remember him just being like a stern, strong man. I mean, what he said went. And if he told you to do something, you didn't do it, he'd come in and hit you in the back of your ear, he'd flick your ear. And you would always remember that, so you would always listen to what he said, and the next time you would do it when he told you. Just a real nice, down-to-earth person. And I remember them, one of the memories I remember when living with them was, they used to belong to a club called the Viejitos, Los Viejitos. And it was an older club with a lot of people from Van Nuys. They would have dances over at the Painters Hall. So that would be Saturday night. So Sunday morning, my grandma and grandpa and my nana thought to tell us, hey, let's go to the hall, we got to clean it up. And we couldn't wait to go because people were dropping change all over the place. We find dollar bills, quarters, nickels. That was the good part. The bad part was after they would be drinking, they would drop their cigarettes inside the cans. So we would have a bucket, we'd have to dump all the beer into the buckets and then put the cans in a box or a bag. And it stunk. You always remember that smell. But that's one memory that I remember of doing something with my Nana. I thought that was a good memory that I had with them. Actually, we went to Ranchito Elementary first. And then I went to, I think it was Beachy Elementary. We had moved again, so I went to Beachy. And then we moved to Van Nuys. And I was living with my Nana. And I went to Sylvan Park. As far as junior high, we went to Van Nuys Junior High. I only went there for 2 years because in the middle of my 3rd year, they changed the high school to a 4-year high school. So I got a notice in the mail in the summer saying to report to Van Nuys High School. My probably favorite subject was math, so I was pretty good in math. English, history, I didn't really care too much about that. It didn't really interest me. But math really interested me a lot. I was good at it. And if you're good at something you like to do, and I like doing math a lot. So to this day, there's a lot of things that go in one ear and out the other, but I always remember numbers. And my kids make fun of me for that. Not make fun of me, but they're amazed at what I still know as far as that. I can get a figure or a fact before they can, and you know, it's good that I can do that. Beep boop beep. One of my first jobs growing up was I was a paper boy, and we had this family from Van Nuys. They were the Tejedas, and the person that I got the route from was Freddie Tejeda. And he had a route which is over here by the Sepulveda Drive-In. So you had all the streets over off of Victor and Sepulveda, and they had the Sepulveda Drive-In. I actually had the drive-in theater that I had to throw it into first. That was my first stop. So I would get out of school. I was in junior high, and I would go home and I'd wrap all the papers up with rubber bands and put them in the bag. And then I had a lowrider bike, but I don't think it was a lowrider bike at the time. But I would get the bag and wrap it around my handlebars, and I'd cruise down Delano all the way to Sepulveda, and I'd cruise into the drive-in on my bike, and I'd drive all the way to the snack bar and just throw the paper right there, and then I'd do the rest of the route. And then back in the days, in the back of the Sepulveda Drive-In, there used to be a trailer park. So I would go do the trailer park, and I'd do that. And then I think once a month I'd go over there. When I throw the paper, I'd go collect. I'd go up to the front doors, tell them this is what you owe me, and I'd give them a receipt. And then the next morning, my boss would come and throw the papers, or bring the papers to me, and I would give them all the money that I had collected. My second job that I had, I didn't have it that long, but I was in junior high, and we were walking to and from school. And when I would walk down Cedros, there was a wood shop that was there. And they used to make drawers, chests of drawers, all kinds of stuff, dressers. And one day I stopped in there and asked them if they needed any help. And the guy said, yeah, you know, if you want, you could come maybe 3 times a week, come in here and sweep all the sawdust. So I would stop by there Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I stopped by there and get the broom. It was close to when they were closing, so I'd get the broom and I would just start sweeping the floors. And just I would be sneezing all over the place, sneezing all the time because of all the sawdust. But I'll pick up all the sawdust, put it in the trash can, and take it outside and dump it in the dumpster. And I did that probably for about 6 months. I wasn't there that long. And then my job after that was I started at the market. I started at Safeway Supermarket, and that was in 1981, and I went all the way to 86. And I started off as a box boy and just bagging groceries, getting shopping carts. And then I got promoted. I started ordering the bread, and that was more money, so I did it. So I started ordering the bread and taking care of the plants. So I would order all the plants, order the bread, and talk with the different vendors from Vandy Camps and the other companies. And then from there I got promoted to produce, and I was working produce department from 1 to 10. In about 1985 I took a test for the city of Los Angeles for the Department of Water and Power for a meter reader, and about 1986 they called me to work for them. So I was working Monday through Friday for the city and as a meter reader. And then I was working on the weekends at the market because I was getting paid top dollar at the market. I didn't want to leave, believe me, I didn't want to leave because I was making more there than I was with the city. But at the time, I was getting my daughter Serena on the weekends. I wasn't with her mom, so I was getting her on the weekends, and it was kind of conflicting with the job. So I worked at the market for probably about 6 months after I started Water and Power. And then after that I decided to quit. 1999 I started with field service, where I turned services on and off, and it's customer service on the field, and I've been doing that since 1999, so I've been doing that for 16 years. It's funny because when I was working at the market, my Uncle Joey was working for the city, and he was working, I believe he was working for a non-profit organization, but he was in charge, and he was working for the city. He had been there many years. And he was telling me, hey Fredo, they're going to give the test for the meter reader. And I was like, meter reader? What's that? I had no clue what a meter reader was. So yeah, they go out and they read the meters for the bills for the department, and they're giving the test. You should take it. So I said, okay, I'll check it out. So I took the test. I passed. I got my score. And then I started in 86. And he was very happy that I got in with the city because you got great benefits. Your retirement, everything is great. You know, working for the city, and not many people can say they work for the city of Los Angeles. So I was very proud, and I'm grateful that he told me to do that, because it was probably one of the best decisions that I ever made. And now everything has come full circle, because a few years back they were giving the test again. So I told my cousin Jojo, which is my Uncle Joey's son, I said, hey Joe, they're giving the test, you know, for meter reader. He goes, oh, okay, yeah, you know. So I took about 6 or 7 guys over to Oxnard and Kester. There's a industrial buildings over there, and there's a whole bank of meters, like 20 meters in a row. And I had them practice reading meters. And from all the ones that went with me, the only one that made it was Jojo. And today he's still reading meters. So his dad told me, Uncle Joey told me, and I got in and I told him, and he actually got promoted recently. And I'm very proud of him. He's doing a great job. My philosophy on money, just try and save whatever you can. My nana told me, save for a rainy day. Put some money away for a rainy day. And that is so true, because if you don't have that philosophy, you have to be wise with your money. And growing up, we only had my mother, and she didn't really preach that because she didn't really have it. So how can you preach something when you don't have it? But you gotta be smart with your money. You have to put money away, because at any time you could have a sickness, you could have your job, you could lose your job. Something could happen. You're always gonna need money for, whether it's for bills, for your rent, for your mortgage. And you just, I say this to my kids, to my grandkids, my brothers and sisters, just put money away, because someday you're going to need it, and hopefully it'll be there for you. Some of our friends in school, growing up, also was Henry Campos, the Campos family. We knew the Camposes since we were kids. We played at Delano Park together. We played baseball. We played at the Van Nuys Boys Club. And that's kind of where we met. We met the Camposes and the Tejedas. So it'd be Henry and Pee Wee, Freddie Tejeda, Louis, Sammy. I would say Javier Yanes. We call him Reds, and he lived right across from the school. And Reds is just a down to earth person, and just families that we grew up with, and to this day we speak. I played baseball, I played soccer, and I kicked for the football team in high school. And I think one of my greatest accomplishments that I'm very proud of was I was about 16 in 1980, and I was chosen to represent the state of California at the U.S. Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, and I was invited to a tryout for the U.S. soccer team. And I went out there on a Friday. We flew all the way. That's the first time I've been on a plane ever. So I got to Denver Friday, and we stayed there used to be some old Army barracks, and we stayed in the Army barracks, and they had converted them into little rooms. And then Saturday, we took the old Army buses. We took these white Army buses, but it said U.S. Olympic Training Center on them. We took them to this area where they had nothing but soccer fields, and there was fields all over the place. And they would have different teams on the fields. So you would go with whatever team you were with, and they would have the scouts. They would go from field to field and just rate you, they'll score you, how you score from a 1 to 10. Well, unfortunately, I got hurt. I hurt my ankle in the afternoon on Saturday. So there's so many kids from all over the United States that basically they just do therapy on you, physical therapy, and that's all I did the rest of the time I was there. I went to physical therapy, into the trainer's room, did some therapy on me, and then I went back out. And the rest of the time I just took pictures. We left Sunday, I came back to California, to Van Nuys, and that was a great accomplishment. I think that I had a good time over there. I met my first wife, Susan. I met her in Van Nuys High School, and we have a daughter together, Serena Marie Barraza. She was born in 1982. Actually, she was born in February of '82, and I graduated in June. So I actually had her when I was in high school, and it was kind of hard at the beginning because being so young, but I was able to overcome that, and I'm doing well and she's doing well. Guadalupe Ramirez, I actually met her at Van Nuys High School as well. She was going there for a while. She had been going there for a little while. It wasn't a long time. And I used to see her in high school. I used to see her going to her class. And I just thought she was beautiful. She was firme, And I remember she would be going to her classes, and I would not ask her, but I would kind of like walk by her, just kind of like to check her out and stuff. Like I was already like falling in love. Just like it was like puppy love. I was just like, dang, this girl's good, you know, she's fine. So I remember just going, and then I started talking to her. She used to hang out with all the guys that I knew, all my friends from Van Nuys that I knew. She would hang out with them and hang out with some other people, but that's where I met her. And then she left. She got checked out of school, and I didn't see her again for a while. We reunited. I was over at, me and my friend Jerry Mercado had went to Las Jaras, and it's a little restaurant over here in Van Nuys. And we went out there, and we were there just at the restaurant. You know, we had a couple of drinks, and Lupe was sitting with all her sisters, and her sister-in-law was in from Seattle, or they were in town. They were in town, and all of them were there. So Lupe and Julie and Kiki and Linda, Vicky, and they're all having drinks, and they had brought her out for the weekend, so they took her out for drinks. So me and Jerry were there, and I said, hey, you think I'm gonna go ask that girl to dance? He said, no, you're not, fool. Yeah, I'm gonna go ask her to dance. So I walked over to the table, and she had went to the bathroom. She had left to use the restroom. So I was talking with Jenny and her other sisters, and I told her, what is she drinking? And I think she was drinking like Seagrams or something, or Bacardi and Coke or something. So I asked the waiter, hey, let me get a Bacardi and Coke. So he brought it over. So then she came out, she came back, and she sat down. We're talking right there, and she was saying, who are you? And I was telling her my name is Steve, and blah, blah. And she was asking for another drink. I said, I already got you one. So she said, oh, thank you very much, and everything. So the night went on, and I went back. I was talking for a little bit. I went back with Jerry, and then I asked her to dance. So we were out there dancing, and it was a slow dance, and we were kind of close to each other. And we're looking at each other, and she goes, man, I think I know you from somewhere. And I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't know from where. And then I said, where did you go to school? And she said, I went to Van Nuys for a little while. And we got thinking, and we're like, oh my God, she was there. That was her. She came back into my life. And I couldn't believe it. But yeah, we met there again. And we kept in touch. And then after I get off of work every day, I was over there, hounding her, according to her sisters. There's Steve. Linda used to say, Lupe, Steve's in the front again. So that's where we kind of got our relationship going again, and we moved in together with each other, and then we got married a couple years ago. My wedding day was a happy day. We went over we had a small wedding. We had it over at the Van Nuys courthouse, and it was my mom, Lupe's mom, Serena, Michael, Rose, and Dizea was there. She was the flower girl. And it was a small wedding. After the wedding, we went home and we had a little celebration. And it's going on 2 years. Actually, we just had 2 years in September the 13th. What I most love about her is she's a great person. She's a great person, a good wife. She's had her ups and downs. Growing up, she's had hardships, you know, just like everybody else. But she's done the best that she can with what she's had. She's done a great job with her kids and with my kids. And she's actually trying to get into the insurance business to better herself. And she's taken a lot of courses through work. And she's trying to be a better person as far as being productive, a productive person in society. And she's headed in the right direction. You know, it's funny, the dating was kind of funny because she had 2 kids. When I got with Lupe, she had Michael and Valerie. Valerie was probably about 1.5 years, and Michael was in the carrier, so he was like a newborn. So whenever we go somewhere, we'd have to pack him in the back of my Impala, and we'd go to the movies, or we'd go here, we'd go there. One of the days I remember was I still like to take rides. We just jump in the van and go, whether it's camping overnight or to Santa Barbara or Pismo Beach. But I remember me and your mom, we took a ride out towards Santa Barbara, and it was just the 2 of us. And it's past Santa Barbara, but there's some orange grove trees on the right hand side and some lemon trees, lemon grove. And we were driving. I said, you know, let's get off here and we'll take a picture. There was these guys going by on bikes, and I told them, let's see if they could take a picture of us. So, hey, can you take a picture of us? That was before selfies. So he goes, yeah. So he got off of his bike and he took a picture, and it was one of the best pictures I have, me and your mom when we were really young, when we got together. Okay, I have 4 kids. The first one is Rose Barraza. She's 33. One of the memories I ever heard growing up was we used to go out to the poppy fields out in Lancaster and Palmdale. And I would take them out there. It would be once a year. Let them run around in the fields and just check out the little flowers and stuff and the little lizards or whatever was out there. Well, Serena didn't like bugs. She was like arachnophobia. She didn't like bugs, and it was hard to get her out of the car because every time when she would come out, she'd be skipping that. We were jumping this way, and it was like I was torturing her. And she finally got out and went in there for a little bit. Went into the poppy field for a little bit, but she couldn't wait to get back into the car because that was her heaven. That was her heaven on earth, was inside the car and out of the way of those insects and flies and whatever else was out there. The next one would be Valerie Montenegro. And memories of her, I have a lot of them, probably mostly playing sports. She's a really good baseball player and softball player. But growing up, she played, when she was about 8 years old, 7 years old, she played with the boys, played baseball. And she would always kick their ass. And I remember one of the memories I had of her was she was playing. I used to announce some of the games, so I would be behind the home plate up in the announcer's booth. And I would announce her games. And this one game that she was playing, she hit a home run. And she was just making fun of all the boys as she ran around the bases. And that was the first of many that she did. That's the memory I have of her. The next one would be Michael Montenegro. And Michael, growing up, a lot of memories just being a wild little kid, just being a kid, a boy at heart, playing with sticks, playing with ropes, strings, just tying a string to this tree or that tree. Ninja Turtles. We got a Ninja Turtle outfit, and just remember him just running around with his swords and his mask on. He was Michelangelo, and just being a kid. Also, when we moved to our house in Van Nuys, we had a tree in the back. It was a pretty big sized tree, and I wanted to make something for him. So I wasn't good in wood, so we took a ride. We got a pallet that we found. It was a box pallet. And me and a friend of ours, Carmelo, we went up there and we put it up in the tree. We just sat it up in the tree and nailed it down, and that was his clubhouse, or his tree house. And then the next day we went to the surplus, the Army surplus store, and we bought some, we bought like 6 feet of camouflage, and we put it in front of the tree house so that he could have a little privacy so when he's looking down at us. And that was a good memory of Michael being up there all the time with his guns and just playing. Rose Barraza, my youngest. Growing up with Rose, she was the youngest. I think she probably got spoiled out of all of them the most. Growing up with Rose, just going places. At her time growing up as a kid, her favorite animal was Barney. And I remember this one outfit that we bought. They weren't pajamas, but this one outfit that we had of her, for her. And everywhere we went, she was wearing Barney. Barney's tennies, Barney pants, Barney top. And just Rose was always a fun-loving girl. Looked like she was having fun all the time, whether she was at somebody's house, just in the front yard, watching TV. One memory I have of Rose, we used to go to Griffith Park. I used to take them out to the trains out there, take the kids out, let them run around. And just one memory I have of her was we had a wagon that we had taken, and she had her Barney outfit on. And she had this hat on with a flower in the front. I remember that outfit. And she was just playing around and riding on the wagon and just being young, a young kid, and just being happy. I have Kayla. She's the oldest. And she is my son Michael's daughter from Nicole. And then the next oldest is Isaiah. And she's from Valerie. That's Valerie's little baby. And she's going to be 9. And then we have Steven, who just turned 4. And he had a big party, swimming party last week. Nice little kid, another little Ninja Turtle like Michael, flipping all over the place with his nunchucks and his Ninja Turtle toys. And then we have Ayana, she's the last one. And she's the craziest of them all. She's just crazy. Wild girl. She's the youngest and she'll be 3. Those are the grandkids, I love them all. And that's my family. The one person that's had a memorable effect on my life would be my brother John. Like I said, I didn't have a father. And growing up, he was like a father to me. You know, he was the head of the household. You know, we didn't get into too many arguments or fights, but whatever John said, I knew that it was right. It was the right thing to do, and it was the best thing for all of us. So I always look up to John. I've always looked up to John, and I worked with him. When I started working, I was 16. I started working at the market, and John was working there. He had been working there for 4 or 5 years, and I worked with him for about 5 years, and then I moved on to the city. But I've always looked up to John. I can talk to him whenever if I've had any problems in my life, in relationships, big decisions I needed to make. I can always call on him to give me the right advice. The second person that I kind of look up to would probably be right up there would be my mom. She's done a great job with all of us growing up. Single parent, done a great job. I can go talk to my mom about things that I can't talk with other people about. Sometimes I don't know if it's the right answer that she gives me or the right answer that I want to hear, but I look up to my mom with all my heart. The third person that I look up to, that I admire him a lot, would be Lupe's dad, Chencho. Just knowing him without having a father, he just put a lot of wisdom into me, into my head, into my mind. I learned a lot of things about life, gardening, different things. He knew a lot of stuff. He knew a lot of stuff, and from the wars to how to make a motor run and how to build this for the house, how to do plumbing, electrical. He learned. He knew a lot of stuff, and he taught me a lot of stuff about life. That just talks that I had with him, just between us. And I always looked up to him, and he was a great man. A great man. Best advice: just be yourself. You know, I want to be like him. He was a really, really down to earth man, good father, good tata to his grandkids. Just very, very down to earth. I love being around him. I'm grateful for my family, and that we all have pretty good health. We haven't really had too many health problems, all of us. My family's one. My kids, and I'm grateful for my grandkids. My grandkids, they make me feel young again. You know, I do a lot of things for my grandkids, and I guess I get that from my nana, my tata, from them. What scares me, I think the one thing that scares me the most is probably passing, because a lot of people depend on me, and I know I'm there for a lot of people. I'm there for a lot of people, and I do a lot of things for people. And with me gone, it would be hard for them. It would be hard for a lot of people. That's what scares me the most. What makes me stop and go wow? When I think about how many years I've been at the Department of Water and Power. It's going to be 29 years in 2 months. And when I think about it, I've got about 4 more years that I can retire. And I say, wow, it's gone by pretty quick. But it's been a fun ride. And it just seemed like yesterday that I started. But I'm in pretty good shape. So it could be 6 years, it could be 10. But wow. My second time being on a plane was when my kids got us tickets to go to New York City. They got us tickets for Christmas, and it was for Valentine's in February of 2015. My favorite part about New York was probably going to the Statue of Liberty. So we took some really nice pictures with the Statue of Liberty in the background, and just going under the Brooklyn Bridge and the other bridges over there. I think that was probably the highest point. And then going to the Indian Museum. There was a Native American museum that we went into, and they had a lot of artifacts, a lot of history of American Indians. And those two are part of the highlights of New York. If I was to go back when I was age 15, something to say to myself would probably be to stay in school and continue my education. I don't know how much more that would have brought me as far as job security or anything like that, but just maybe getting some degrees. I see my kids going back, and Rose just graduated from Cal State Northridge. I'm very proud of her. And Serena's at Northridge now, and she's getting her degrees. Hopefully she'll be graduating next May in 2016. So to my kids and my grandkids and anybody else out there, family, education is probably the most important thing, and I wish I would have furthered it, but I'm happy where I'm at. I don't know if it's a talent, but just being around the grandkids and doing things with them. You know, I'm still very healthy, so just being able to go out on bike rides with them, taking the bikes and going for rides, going camping, just going to my grandkids' games now. My grandkids are going to be playing sports. Steven played soccer. I just had fun going to his games. Ayana, hopefully she's going to get into ballet, and Isaiah's playing soccer. So just being able to get up and go, and not having to rely on anybody else, and being healthy and being able to go and just have a good time and just enjoy my family. Be yourself and be honest. Honesty will take you a long way. You can trust somebody that's always honest with you, but somebody that's untruthful, you don't know when you can trust and when you can't. The truth goes a long way. Say hello to somebody. You're out there. You can say somebody that's out on the street. It could be a homeless person. I talk to homeless people all the time. I'll say, "How you doing today?" Oh, you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't have anybody to talk to, and just saying hello can make somebody's day. It goes a long way, and it could bring a smile to their face. When all is said and done, I just want to be remembered as a good person, a good father, a good uncle, a good tata, and just a good, honest person, just being honest with everybody. Cut.
That's it. You're done. You got through it.
I gotta see the uncut version when you transfer to there. I'm like, oh my god, really, Steve?